What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Scalp Solutions podcast. I am your host, David Santiago, and today I have with me Mav Rico. Mav, how are you, my brother?
I'm doing very good. It's nice to be on your podcast. Thank you for inviting me on.
Thank you for taking some time to jump on the podcast. Not only did you take some time, you woke up incredibly early.
Oh
'Cause
yes.
what time is
Although
it? What time is it over there right now?
it's 5:30 in the morning or 5:15. So we have
5:15 in the morning. And Mav, just real quick, let the audience know where it is that you're calling from, where you're coming from.
well, I am based here in the Philippines. My clinic is called ProScalp. I am specifically located northeast of Manila, the capital of the Philippines, and I've been doing scalp micropigmentation for 3 years now.
For 3 years, dude, let me tell you something. I know you're in your office right now in your clinic because we established that before we jumped on, but that is a really nice looking clinic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that looks professional. I would give you $6,000 for you to do my SMP just because of how that looks right there.
Well, the reason behind it, if I may just share this
Yeah, no,
with you.
absolutely. Go for it.
I used to have my office right in the middle of the center of the capital. I've been there for operated there for 2 years, and since I live here, right outside the city, I decided to pretty much upgrade my location so that it would be still worth traveling to clients coming from faraway places. So the location, the place is really one of my priorities when I decided to move to different locations. That's why I have this a little bit bigger space than my original one.
Yeah, no, that looks awesome, man. You put some good work into that. So now let me ask you, are you the only artist working out of there, or do you have someone else that you
Yes, I'm solely the artist for this clinic. Although I do have a branch which is located down south of the Philippines, which caters to different regions in different islands, specifically Visayas Island. I have a branch there. I do have a trained artist, which I train personally, but most of the clients are really coming to my clinic for them to to see me personally and do the work.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. The exclusivity. They just coming to see you. And I tell you what, I have to compliment you because I'm a guy that I love self-promotion. I don't shop no other stuff. I take plain shirts. But for you guys that are listening, you can't see this. If you guys are tuning in on YouTube, this guy has a button down ProScalp, his company shirt, and it looks absolutely amazing. Like dude, that looks super G, bro. I love it.
Originally, it was really intended to be a cycling shirt. Here in the Philippines, well, personally, I do love cycling. Nowadays, cyclists wear something really comfortable. So this is a dry fit shirt, which is just if you want to have a relaxing ride or chill ride. So we don't want to wear lycra anymore. So we start using a shirt, button down shirt, and this serves as my uniform nowadays.
Yeah, no, I could tell once you pulled it, I was like, all right, that's like one of those dry fit. That's a quality shirt. You didn't cut any corners when it came to the shirt or when it came to the clinic. So kudos on you for that. So Mav, what were you doing prior to SMP?
Professionally, originally, I was a nurse. I was a registered nurse. But I only worked for just a couple of years as a nurse, and I moved to the corporate world. And right before I trained for scalp micropigmentation, I had an e-commerce stores, or actually stores. Yes, I had 2 stores I was running 2 stores that pretty much sold accessories for men and women. That's along with my wife. And when I had this SMP on my head, when I decided to give it a go, I was like, well, this might be a good, probably another form of income, but I just set it aside since I was pretty much focused with my e-commerce stores.
Got it. So you essentially got introduced to scalp micropigmentation because you were also a balding man and you got the procedure done yourself.
Yeah, I was once a client. Yes, that's correct. That was back in 2018, latter part of 2018. And probably 3 months after, I pretty much searched for good training schools for SMP. And I found one here in Asia. I had my training in Bangkok, Thailand, in 2019.
Got it. And that was it. Now, I mean, so how was that transition for you? Because clearly, having heard what you were doing prior to that, like you've been an entrepreneur for quite some time. So what was that transition like? Because now you're talking about e-commerce and now you're back to like actually working and getting paid for your actual time.
Yeah, surprisingly, well, I don't have any background in terms of, you know, arts. It's just more of seeing myself doing this this work or this job, and pretty much helping out others while you know, earning. Well, pretty much this industry has real good earning potential. So, you know, as an entrepreneur, that spark interest, and I just envisioned myself doing this. So that's why I just give it a go. I pretty much jump on the training and did my work pretty much just to transition to doing e-commerce and tattooing, which I didn't have any background at all. So it was a hard work.
Got you. So now you've been doing SMP for over 3 years or about 3 years?
Almost 3 years. Actually, yes, 3 years. I had my training April 2019. So yeah, it is exactly 3 years now. Since
3 years. So now let me ask you, how has that been for you? How has that road been these last 3 years?
At first, it wasn't easy. Just like any SMP artist, you know, those who are successful, definitely they started somewhere. We all started at the bottom, I would say. It was a bit of a struggle when I started, when I opened my doors to paying clients. One, of course, honing your skills was one of my frustrations. It wasn't that easy. I mean, I didn't do well with creating natural looking hairlines, so I developed my skills and watch other artists do, you know, the hairline, doing the hairline. So I put in the hours practicing, pretty much.
Practicing, putting in the work, and that's why you are now the beast that you are now. So let me ask you, do you see yourself still in the SMP industry within the, you know, in the next 5 years?
Yes, I would say I see myself doing this for the next 5 or 10 years. I have developed this passion already. Initially, you know, we always tell, find your passion. But in my case, I don't have anything to start with, since I don't have the set skills needed for this. So I really put in the hours, developed this passion that pretty much created confidence. It built my confidence, and it started to. It's still being. I mean, it is still growing. The passion in me by keeping myself really motivated and seeing other artists work. It really helped me push myself and improve my skills.
Got you. And now, how long do you think, how long did it take for you to develop the confidence and the skills that you have now? Like, you know, was it a year, 2 years, 20 clients, 40 clients, 60 clients?
Well, I could confidently say when I had my first 150 to 100 clients, even at 100 clients, I wasn't feeling that confident with the level of my skills. And after almost 2 years, that's when I felt that I got this. I became versatile. The versatility with doing other, many aspects of scalp micropigmentation, from repairing botched jobs to FUE, FUT, scar, cover-ups. So when I had that feeling that I could do pretty much any type of SMP procedure, that's when the time I told to myself that I can pretty much do anything.
Nice.
But it took me a lot. I mean, it took some time for me to get that.
Yeah, no, I like to pose that question, and I'm smiling because, you know, when I was asked that, I tell them I remember completing my 60th client and telling myself, I still don't feel good. I feel like I still need more training. And I went and I got like a master's training, and it took me about 2 years where I felt like I developed some confidence. And I like to pose that because, you know, we got a lot of new artists that are coming into the industry, and I think a lot of them seem to forget that artists like yourself that are incredibly gifted, you know, it took you some time, you know, to get to where you are. And it wasn't oh, you know, 5 clients later, you know, I had this skill and I was confident enough. So like, you know, it's a journey, it's a long road to get to being at the capacity, you know, where you are. It's not something that's just going to happen overnight.
Right. And it is also when you see your clients go back for top-ups, touch-ups, that's when you would see if you really did a good job the first time you did theirs. And my first year, I think I've had like over 100 clients, but you know, it didn't give me that confidence yet, since actually I was really afraid. I mean, since I haven't seen those clients before, but when they started coming back and saying, oh, okay,
yeah, I did a good job. All right.
But honestly, yes, there are clients that I know that I could have done much better, but it's part of the learning process. So as soon as I see those clients coming back, it pretty much gave me that or established that confidence, since most of them, well, luckily, still looking good at this point.
So you're doing it good. So let me ask you, Mav, do you have like an ideal client? What I mean by an ideal client is what would be like your favorite, like, you know, someone who comes in like with a Norwood 7, like, do you enjoy working on a big job, or like, is your ideal client someone who's just coming in maybe for a density fill or just for a hairline?
Yes, I mean, I like doing extensive work, but the most ideal clients I would say are those who know what to expect, because there are clients that they have this unrealistic expectation of, especially when it comes to density field. They want as dense as their hair fiber, putting in hair fiber. So I would prefer someone who is conservative in terms of the hairline and know what to expect with scalp micropigmentation. Those are the type of clients I'd always want to have. Those who know what they want, those who know what to expect in terms of the outcome for scalp micropigmentation.
Excellent. Great answer. I appreciate that. Now, do you have a favorite hairline that you like to execute? Or I don't know, maybe culturally out in the Philippines, is there like just that one hairline that everybody wants?
Well, yes. We tend to go for a more natural looking hairline, more softer, jagged. So that's what I've been trying to achieve or give to my clients. Culturally, we're not into barbers edge up, just like there in New York City. But yeah, I have clients who are in their 20s, mid-20s, and pretty much I would say it's because of their lifestyle. I mean, there are Asian clients who are into hip hop and culture. So I tend to give them what they want, and most of them end up with an edge up hairline design. But yes, I always try to suggest a more natural looking hairline.
Try to stay away from them New York hairlines, huh?
Not really. Actually, I enjoyed those kind of requests since I seldom get that type of work. So when I get them, I even suggest some fake scars or shaved line effect added to that edge up.
Okay, got you. So you'll give it to them if they want it, because it's not, you don't get it often. So it's almost not necessarily a challenge, but it's like a treat for you.
Yes.
Got it.
Since I've been just doing, soft looking hairline, and when I get some requests for edge up or really sharp, I get excited. But I really ask them not just once, but twice or even 3 times if this is something that they really wanted, since Asians are not known to have that kind of hairline. Culturally, we're not that, we don't have that kind of culture of when I mean, just like in America for Black Americans. So yeah.
Got you. So now, what's a business aspect of the in the industry that you wish you were stronger at, whether it be marketing, something with just technique wise?
I'm sorry, Dave, can you say that again?
Sure. What is a business aspect within the industry that you wish you were stronger at?
I would say time management in terms of booking clients. Since yes, I get a lot of inquiries, but honestly, it's a one man show for me. I do the treatment. I do the bookings. So sometimes it's difficult to be good at it. Making clients or getting clients their schedules. So, well, I tend to delegate the task. My wife is trying to get involved with the business, but I always end up doing it anyway. So, since I know the in and outs of the business, so managing my time with the treatments and entertaining inquiries and the booking. So yeah, it's taking a toll sometimes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I wish, well, I'm getting the hang of it. Actually, even I mean, it has been 3 years now, but when I get bombarded with inquiries and interested clients, sometimes I forget about clients, or I kept them hanging, waiting for their schedule, which I just completely honestly forget about it. So yeah, managing my time, doing all stuff related to my business. It's one of the struggles, I would say, up until this day.
Got you. 100% relatable. I'm a one-man show myself, but I do some delegating now. Like I no longer do the consultations or the callback. But yeah, that can be absolutely overwhelming. So now, what about if I was a new SMP artist, right? And I'm just starting out, what advice would you give me for marketing, like to put myself out there? One good piece of advice.
I would say, based here in the Philippines, I mean, I can only speak to myself, and Filipinos are heavy users of Facebook, Instagram. So, and this is something I train for when it comes to advertising your business. So I would recommend, or I would encourage you to train for Facebook advertising or Instagram, because that's one way to promote your business. And I would say Filipinos are really are really heavy in terms of using Facebook and Instagram. So I would ask someone who is starting the business to invest time and money advertising on Facebook and Instagram. But I know there are a lot of avenues to advertise business, but those are the two main elements that would be a big help for your business.
Got it. Got it. Thank you for that. And now, what's something that you know, right? So you've been doing this for 3 years. What's something that you know now that you wished you would have known when you first started out as an SMP artist?
You see, when I started the business, when I completed my training, honestly, I didn't know about, this is one specific aspect of my my training that I felt wasn't taught at all. That was the equipment, which includes especially the needles. I was given by my training provider just the needles they use, just one specific needle, which hit like 1003, 0.30. So for the first like 3 months of doing SMP, I was frustrated with the type of impressions I get. So, but I didn't know that there are other configuration sizes for the needles. And as soon as I started Googling up, the other tools, needles, that's when I found out that, oh, okay, there are other type of needles I can try. And as soon as I start using other type of needle sizes, that's where I found that well, I can do good work just by using this this set of needles. So it was again, it was a frustration for me to not knowing there are other tools that I can use, not just the
what
needles.
Instructor told you?
Well, funny, they just told me that you can adjust your pressure to achieve that 0.25, 0.20. But hell no. I mean, if you just adjust your pressure a little lighter, it would get shallower in terms of the pigment. So there, I mean, the needles are there. The size of the needles are there for a reason. So that's one thing I wish I knew. If I had known this existed, I would have been much better at managing my skills.
Got you, got you. We all have some form of kind of like a little war story, because when we're getting these classes, we don't know any better, so it's like whatever our instructor tells us is like that's law. If there's only a 0.30 or 30 millimeter, that's all we have to use. Okay, got you. So now, speaking of, what equipment do you use now?
I am exclusively using Bishop. I'm a sponsored artist of BishopSMP. Before I was a sponsored artist of 5PM. I used their pigment,
Okay.
but I'm exclusively using Bishop, Bishop wand, BishopSMP pen, and I mean the needles and the ink. So even before I got the sponsorship, I have been using Bishop for the longest time now.
Okay, got you. So now let's talk about needles. Do you have a go-to needle, or do you use several different needles as you move along on the scalp?
My favorite go-to, I have one favorite go-to size of needle, which is 0.603 to 0.20. I like using it even for density fills and even for extensive work. I'd like to get a really tight looking work by using really fine needles. I do use 0.0803, but my go-to needle is 0.603. But I add some texture using other types or other sizes, especially 0.403, or I think the 0.17 configuration. I like the look of that. Combined with 0.603. So yeah.
So you change your sizes. You'll go from a 0. You'll go from a 17 and a 20. When would you use that? Is that something like you would use for the hairline to help create like that natural look, that smooth transition?
Yes, if I'm trying to achieve a more jagged, broken hairline, I try to use 0.403 just to give it the right impression for the hairline. But if I'm doing a more gradient fade out type of hairline, I don't use a smaller needle anymore. I adjust the pressure of my needle or adjust my pressure on the hairline, since my intention is for that pigment to be on a more lighter shade when it heals. So it doesn't necessarily mean I need to use a different type of needle or even dilute my pigment. So I just tweak my pressure just to give that gradient look on the hairline. If I'm trying to achieve a more softer gradient looking hairline, but if I'm going for a more edge up, or let's say just broken hairline, jagged, I try to use a more tighter needle configuration and apply the same pressure as I would normally would for a much bigger needle.
Got it. So it can keep that consistency and hold nice and tight.
Yes.
Got you. So now let's talk about your sponsorship with Bishop. How did that come about? Did you reach out to them and ask, hey, are you guys looking for, an ambassador or someone out here in the Philippines, or did they reach out to you?
Yeah, well, looking back, this might sound embarrassing. 3 months into the business, or 4 months, I think, for my first 6 months, since I have been using Bishop needles, the wand. I gave their page, or I think Instagram. I sent a private message and asked them, would you be interested in somehow sponsoring an upcoming artist? But knowing that I might get rejected, or at least tell them I'm going to wait out for a little bit and see if you'd be worth enough to be one of our ambassadors. It's looking back again, it's kind of like embarrassing to ask someone to sponsor you, but it gave me, or it made it was Dave Hoffer who actually contacted me. At least it gave him an idea that there's someone in Asia who is interested in getting some sponsorship, and I was able to get their attention. But Dave told me to wait out for months or even years, so I didn't really expect anything at that point. But a year after that conversation, that's the time Dave told me that I think it's about time that you get on board. You earned it. So I was happy when I learned that I'd be officially one of their ambassadors.
That's awesome. That's an amazing story too. And I don't think I can see the different, you know, where you can say like, oh, it's a little embarrassing because I'm new to the industry and here I am asking. But as a businessman, I could appreciate that because you put yourself out there. So like now they knew who you were. And it also kind of, you know, it also gave you something to work towards. And look, a year down the line, here you are. Now you're sponsored by them. So, you know, good for you, man. I like that. That was awesome. Nothing embarrassing about that. Over here, we like to say a closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Right. Correct.
So how do you, if you're okay with answering this question, how do you market yourself? Like what platforms do you utilize? Do you do marketing on your own? Do you outsource it to a third party company?
I pretty much do it myself since having a background with advertising using platforms such as Facebook and Instagram. So I do the advertising aspects, such as, you know, creating videos to selecting the target audience, and yeah, since when I was doing e-commerce, I have I would say extensive knowledge about using Facebook and Instagram. So I just put focus on those two marketing platforms, which is doing great. I mean, for my business.
That's awesome, and that's definitely a good that's a good skill to have, because majority of at least SMP artists that I've known or spoken to, it's very it can be very I guess an overwhelming task to try and do on your own if you don't know any better, because you could put yourself in a position to lose a lot of money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So now, do you give yourself so like let's go back. Actually, let me just backtrack just a little bit, because you got your marketing knowledge because of your prior business with the e-commerce. Now, do you like, what would you recommend for SMP artists? Like what kind of courses are out there that they could educate themselves, or did you just YouTube it? Did you YouTube it?
No. Back then, when I was doing e-commerce, there's a certain group of e-commerce owners here in the Philippines. We converged together, and we shared knowledge about advertising. And that's when I was encouraged to take up training classes for Facebook, advertising, and Instagram. So yeah, through those network, I was able to realize that Facebook and Instagram are main tools for advertising, especially in the Philippines, because a lot of Filipinos, young and old, are using Facebook and Instagram. We are heavy users of these platforms, so might as well take advantage of these platforms and use their advertising tool.
Got it. Excellent. Okay, cool. And now, Mav, let me ask you, do you also offer training?
Not at the moment, but I did try, actually. I trained two local guys here who wanted to set up their own SMP clinic. They were my clients, actually, and I decided to train them because I know they are far from my location, because I also thought about getting some competition coming from this guys, knowing that geography. I mean, Philippines is a small country, and we might end up
Competing with each other.
getting some saturation in terms of people doing SMP, because there are already PMU artists doing eyebrow tattooing here. They're trying to take advantage of their edge with eyebrow tattooing and offer services for SMP. So I decided to stop because I'm afraid that the market might get saturated if I, embrace the training aspect of my business and offer it to anyone who wants it. But I'm open to offering training probably to other Asian countries. So at least there's still, again, the market saturation is the main thing. It's my main concern here in the Philippines, especially if I get students here in the Philippines. We might end up competing with each other.
Yeah, hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to keep the market on a stronghold, by all means, do it. So let me we said with the training, so that's not even something even down the line. So you're saying you would do it outside of the Philippines, it's just not your the immediate area.
That's correct. And having been doing clients who are with same type of skin, the color, so I'm more confident providing training to other Asian countries, since I would say I have a knack for doing SMP for brown skin, for Asian skin. So that's where I'm good at. So yeah, why not? If someone, actually, there have been inquiries coming from other artists who would like to take up master class, and they're from other Asian countries. So I'm still trying to put out a portfolio. My training modules for that. But yeah, I'm not putting too much effort now, since I'm quite busy.
You're very busy. Yeah, I was gonna say it's difficult to do that when you're very busy, and from the looks of it, you are very busy. If you don't mind me asking you, what's the what would you charge for Norwood 7 over there in the Philippines?
Norwood 7 in US dollars, I would say it would be around 1,300 to 1,500. So that's the kind of range I would charge for a Norwood 7. I have knowledge of how you guys charge there back in the US, but I think it's relatively cheaper, I guess, compared to the US or
where
UK.
Yeah, no, that's why I asked, because I know it varies depending on where you at around the world. I mean, a Norwood 7 in New York could easily, depending on the artist, could go anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 to 45, to $4,500. But then you got, it's starting to get a little saturated. So you do have some artists that they'll take $500 for it. You know what I mean? Not that they do an amazing job, but it's, they're out there. So, it can be a crazy influx. But I was just interested to know, because I know it's a totally different culture. I know financially it's totally different. And then, I don't know what the area, you are like. So $1,500, $1,300 to $1,500 US, but how much would that be for you in the Philippines? Is that still, that's a good amount, no?
Yes, it is. Although for common average Filipinos who would want to have this treatment, this is quite expensive for them. But I've been getting clients from all aspects of life, coming from blue collar jobs to executives, and even to just students who would want this kind of treatment and would really save up for a good quality SMP. But yes, there are other providers here that would lowball the treatment and provide
work, some botched work.
Yes, I mean you would see providers offering it for just $500, $300 for just 2 sessions, 3 sessions, but they would end up in my clinic realizing that they should have invested first time than just getting it from a much cheaper provider than going to another provider to correct or even repaired and lasered off. So yeah, it happens a lot here in the Philippines.
Yeah, it happens here too. Sometimes being cheap is expensive.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
So Mav, let me ask you one last question before we wrap it up. Give what's one piece of advice you'd want to give to new and upcoming SMP artists?
I would say that you should develop your passion when you develop your passion by really pretty much putting in the hours, working hard, because when you work hard at something, you become good at it. And when you're good at something, you start to enjoy and love what you do. So that's passion, and passion would give you a form of sustainable motivation for you to carry out a good work, and this would really keep you longer in the industry. So try to nurture and develop that passion by honing your skills. Again, practice, and practice would really build your confidence. And also, one thing I would like to give advice to newcomers or upcoming artists: be really optimistic. Don't beat yourself up too much when the frustrations are always there, especially in this kind of field that we have, not getting what we want. But try to just pretty much be positive and try to overcome it by putting focus on what you want to do, what you want to develop, and just again, it boils down to doing hard work, or pretty much working hard for you to develop and nurture your skills.
Awesome. That's great advice. Thank you for that, Mav. Before we wrap it up, Mav, let everybody know where they can find you: website, Instagram, all that good stuff.
They can find me on Instagram at ProScalp Manila. Same handle on Facebook. It's ProScalp Manila. So on my website is ProScalpManila.com, and that's I am more active on Instagram and Facebook page, so they can see updated pictures, my portfolios on those 2 platforms.
Outstanding. Awesome. Mav, I appreciate you again. You're an amazing artist. Keep doing your thing. Enjoy your day. Thank you for coming on the Scalp Solutions podcast.
Thank you, sir.
Wrap it
and
up.
I hope to meet you in person someday.
Let's do it. We got to make it happen. Whether I go out to the Philippines, maybe in the show, if you're ever in New York, by all means, hit me up. I'd love to show you around.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Scalp Solutions podcast. Until the next time, peace.